If you really want to become an Excel data analyst, then this video is absolutely critical because most of people select, copy and paste data the wrong way and it costs them hours of wasted work every single day. Before we start, let me tell you something very clearly. You do not need to remember every single technique today. If something feels confusing or overwhelming, that's completely normal. Professional analysts don't memorize everything. They understand the logic behind it and that's what we are building together. Welcome to Data by Tayyaba. This channel is for those who want to become an Excel data analyst, not just Excel user. Everything here is free, complete, and explained step by step, exactly like paid courses. No shortcuts, no skipping fundamentals. In this video, I will teach you three foundational skills that every Excel analyst use multiple times a day. First, how to select cells efficiently, including techniques that most of Excel users never learn. Second, how to edit data like a professional, not like a beginner who wastes time. And third, how to copy and paste with complete control using paste special option that will literally save you hours every week. Imagine this scenario. You are working at a real company, maybe in sales, HR, or finance. Your manager sends you a hug data set with 500 employees and they say, clean this up, recognize it, and send me a report by tomorrow morning. Without the skill we are learning today, you all either get completely stuck or you all spend the entire night manually doing what should take 30 minutes. This is not random practice data. This is the exact kind of employee database that Excel analysts work with in real jobs. Employee names, departments, salaries, bonus, hire date, performance rating, and contact information. We all go step by step through this. So even if it looks overwhelming right now, don't worry. By the end of this video, you all be comfortable working with data like this. I have added a simple practice file in the description if you want to keep it open while watching. In our last video, we learned powerful keyboard shortcuts for navigation, moving around quickly, jumping to data ages, selecting ranges with shift and control. Today, we are building directly on top of that foundation by adding selections mastery, editing techniques, and copy paste control. Everything connects and you are already ahead of 80% of Excel users. Let me explain why we are starting with cell selection first because this is where most beginners get it wrong. In real jobs, I spend about 40% of my Excel time simply selecting the right data to work with. If you select the wrong cells, everything else breaks. Your formulas, your formatting, your copy paste operations, everything. Let's master this foundation properly, once and for all. First, the absolute basics. Click any cell. Let's click A2 and Excel highlights it with a thick green border. This is your active cell. Notice the name box on the left show A2. Now, if I want to select multiple cells that are connected together, let's say from A to E10. This is called a contiguous range, meaning all the cells are touching each other. See how the first cell A2 say white. That's still your active cell. Now the another cells are highlighted in thick green border. But what if we need to select cells that are not connected? This is where it gets interesting. Let's say I want to select employee names in column A, but also salaries in column C without selecting the department in between. Here's the technique. First, select your first range normally. I will select A2 to A51. Now here's the magic. Hold down the control key and keep holding it. Select your second range. I will click C51. See, both ranges are now selected at the same time. This is called non-contiguous selection and analysts use this constantly when working with specific columns across large data sets. Now let's learn how to select entire row and columns because you all do this all the time in data analysis. To select an entire row, click the row number on the left side. Watch, I will click row 5. The entire row highlights up. Every single cell in that row is now selected. For an entire column, click the column letter at the top. Let me click column C. Perfect, the whole column is selected. And here's a powerful technique. What if you want to select entire worksheet? See this small triangle button where the row numbers and column letters meet. Click that. Or you can just press Ctrl plus A, which we learned in the last video. I love this Ctrl plus A because they just select the entire data, not entire worksheet. Mistakes in Excel mostly acute when the selection is wrong. Be careful with this one rule. If you accidentally format or delete when everything is selected, then Ctrl plus Z is your best friend. Okay, this next technique is going to change your actual life. This is where most beginners get confused, and that's completely okay. But once you understand this, you all feel like a professional. See this small box on the left right above column A. This is called the name box, and normally it just shows you which cell you are on. But here's the secret that professionals use. You can type a cell range directly into this box, and Excel will select it instantly. Watch this. I all click the name box. Now I all type A1 to F10 and press enter. Look at that. A1 to F10 is selected immediately. No dragging, no scrolling, no hunting around. Professional analysts don't guess it. They select the exact range. If this seems advanced right now, it's okay. Just understanding the idea is enough. Alright, last selection technique for today, and this one is absolute gold for data analysts. Pay close attention to this. Press Ctrl plus E, or you can also press F5. Both open to go to dialog box. Now see the button at the bottom that says special. Click that. Look at all these incredible options. You can select only blank cells, only cells with formulas, only cells with constant, only visible cells. This is so powerful. Let me show you a real analyst scenario. Imagine you have this hub employee database and you need to find all the cells where data is missing, where someone forget to fill in information. First, I will select my entire data range as 51. Now I will press Ctrl plus G, click Special and select blank. Watch this. See that Excel instantly highlighted every single blank cell in my selection. Now I can fill them all at once or format them with a color or delete those rows, whatever I need to do. At company's point of view, this matters because in real jobs, you constantly get missing data with missing values, duplicate entries, errors, and you need to find them quickly without manually scrolling through thousands of rows. You are doing great, so let's keep building. Now that we select cells like professionals, let's talk about editing them efficiently. This is where most beginners waste massive amount of time. They don't know the fastest way to edit data, so they end up clicking around, backspacing, retyping when there are much smarter methods. Let me show you. Let's say I want to edit this employee name in cell A2. I have three different options and each one works silently different. Option 1. Double click the cell. See, my cursor is now blinking inside the cell and I can edit the text right here. Option 2. Select the cell and press F2. Same result, I am now in edit mode right inside the cell. Option 3. Click the formula bar at the top and edit here. This is useful when you have really long text and want more space to see it. All three methods do the same thing, but F2 is the fastest because your hand never leaves the keyboard. As an analyst, I use F2 probably multiple times a day. Here's something really important that confuses beginners. Here's the big difference between overwriting content and editing content. Watch carefully. If I select this cell and just start typing, Excel completely replaces everything that was here. See, the alt content is gone. That's overwriting. If I double click or press F2 first, now I am editing the exacting content. I move my cursor around, delete just part of it, add to it. A 1 second decision can save and waste data. In professional environment, you need to know which mode you are in because one wrong move and you could lose important data. So always think, am I replacing or editing? Quick bonus tip that will make your life easier. First, what if you want to write multiple lines inside one cell? Like an address with street, city and country on separate lines. Here's the trick. Press Alt plus Enter to create a new line inside the same cell. See, 3 line, 1 cell. This is super useful for address, long description or formatted text. And here's another cool feature. As you type, watch what Excel does. I all type sales in this department cell. See the gray suggestion. Excel is typed to autocomplete based on what I have typed before in this column. If I like the suggestion, I just press enter. If not, I keep typing. This saves time when you have repetitive data entry. Last editing technique. And this one is incredibly powerful for data analysis. See this tiny block square at the bottom right corner of your selected cell. This is called the AutoFill handle and it's smarter than you think. Let me show you. I will type employee 1 and 2 in cell A1 and A2. Now watch what happens when I grab this little block square and drag it down. Look at that. Excel automatically created employee 3, 4, 5 all the way down. It recognized the pattern. Let me try with number. I will type 10 in one cell, 20 in the cell below it. Select both and drag. Perfect. It continues the pattern 30, 40, 50, 60. This is work with months, days of the week, dates, quarters. Excel is smart enough to recognize most common patterns. In real jobs, this situation comes up constantly when you are creating serial numbers, tracking months, or building sequential lists. Later in the course, we all connect this with flash fill, which is even more powerful. Great progress at this point to understand how to select cells and how to edit them efficiently. Now let's learn the third critical skill, copying and pasting with complete control. This is where things get really interesting. Most people think copy paste is simple, control plus C, control plus V, done. But when working with real data sets, no, there's a whole world of paste options that give you surgical control over your data. Let me show you what I mean. Let's start with basics that you might already know, but I want to make sure we are all on the same page. To copy cells, select them and press Ctrl C. See the merging dotted line around the selection? That means it's copied to your clipboard. Press Ctrl plus V. Perfect. The data is copied over. If you want to cut instead of copy, meaning move the data and remove it from the original location using Ctrl X instead. See how the original cells are now empty. That's the difference between copy and cut. Now here's where Excel becomes incredibly powerful. Instead of just pressing Ctrl plus V, you can press Ctrl plus Alt plus V to open the Paste Special dialog. This gives you surgical control. Look at all these options. Let me show you the most important ones that analysts use every day. Value only. This pastes only the actual data, not the formula or formatting. Watch. See, just the raw values. Format only. This pastes only the colors, font, borders, no data. Perfect for applying formatting from one area to another. Formula only, paste the formulas but not the formatting. Column width, super useful. This matches the column width from your source. Transpose, extremely useful. It flips your data. Rows become columns, columns becomes raw. Look at that. What was in rows is now in columns. This saves hours when restructuring data. And here's one more incredible option. Paste with operations. You can paste automatically, add, subtract, multiply, divide. See, every cell just got multiplied by 1.1 instead 10% basing calculation. Analyst paste with control, not out of habit. At company's point of view, Paste Special is probably in my top 5 most used features. It gives you complete control over how data is transformed. One more quick advanced technique before we wrap up this section. Copy visible cells only. Let's say you have filtered your data to show only fields department. If you copy normally, Excel copies hidden rows too. But if you select your filtered data and press Ctrl plus G, go special, and choose visible cells only. Now when you copy and paste, it only copies what you can see. Super useful for filter reports. With everything we covered today, you can now handle real data tasks that comes up in actual jobs. Quickly finding and selecting specific type of cells in messy data types. Editing data efficiently without overwriting things you don't need to change. Copying clean results from formulas into reports without dragging formulas with them. Restructuring data layouts using transpose when client or manager need it in a different format. These are not advanced skills, but they are professional skills, and here's a big difference. We are 3 videos into our Excel data analyst journey. Interface, shortcut, and file operations done. In the next video, we are going to look at flash fill, one of the most impressive and honestly fun feature in Excel. It detects pattern into your data and fill the rest automatically. Everything we are learning connect together. Step by step, you are building real data expertise. There is no rush. This journey takes time and we are taking it step by step together. I will be here with you the whole way. Remember, Excel is not just about formulas and functions. It's about data analysis, analytics, and thinking like a professional Excel data analyst clearly and confidently. Thank you so much for learning with me today. I will see you in the next lesson of your data journey.